JP Morgan, the largest bank in the entire world, finally said it out loud. Customers will be able to buy crypto assets. Let's go ahead and get into this. We also have a ton of information, new clips from Larry Fink on Bitcoin. We also have some updates on where Bitcoin and Ethereum are headed. And then we're going to talk about some kind of ridiculous stuff around XRP. There's more FUD, more hit jobs going on right now in the digital asset space. Plus, we got some new updates from CME and XRP. We're going to get into all this in this video. Let's go ahead and play this first.
And just in terms of another big topic that the banks are focused on, custody of crypto assets. Speaking to Citi last week, suggesting they're going to launch their own crypto custody service. This is actually holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other tokens as well. When it comes to how you're approaching digital assets, how big a topic is custody right now? Is it something that you're looking to launch as well?
From a JP Morgan side, I don't think that's in the near-term horizon for us. I think Jamie was pretty clear at Investor Day that we're going to be involved in the trading of that, but custody isn't on the table at the moment. There's a lot of questions around our own risk appetite of how far we want to go down that path from trading and other sides of it, and then custody, I guess, would follow. But naturally, we need custodians, so we're exploring what the right custodians for us for the business footprint that will grow.
Who do you think the right custodian for JP Morgan would be? I'd imagine they'd probably talk with Coinbase, since they're working with Coinbase on a few different levels. Chase and Coinbase have had this partnership that launched in the fall of 2025. Crypto assets will be offered a full range, not just XRP and Ethereum, but the full range on Coinbase there. You can use your ATM cards to buy, you can use your Chase ATM cards to buy crypto on Coinbase, but wondering kind of what their plans are going to be for custody in the future. At least they're thinking about it.
I did say Bitcoin, because we were talking about Bitcoin then, was the domain of money launderers and thieves. But, the markets teach you have to always relook at your assumptions. There is a role for crypto in the same way there's a role for gold. That is, it's an alternative. For those looking to diversify, this is not a bad asset, but I don't believe that it should be a large component of your portfolio. I did say...
Interesting part here. Even Larry Fink talks about Bitcoin as a store of value, not really the technology of the future, right? Not the future financial system will be on Bitcoin, but a digital store of gold or digital gold. I think that's where Bitcoin's backed itself into a corner, and I don't think it's getting out. All right, you do have some price predictions here. Tom Lee and, man, I always go blank on this gentleman. Arthur Hayes, there it is. Talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum still by the end of this year. Listen to their predictions.
And Arthur, Tom, this has been great. One last question for you guys. It is October 6th. So we've got 2 months, 3 weeks before the end of the year. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high the day of recording at 126,000.
They recorded this on the 6th before the crash.
Ether, I would like it to get at least above 5,000 this month, hopefully. Arthur, what do you think the year-end ranges will be for both Bitcoin and ETH?
So I'm going to stay consistent. $250,000 Bitcoin, $10,000 ETH.
$10,000 ETH. Do you think ETH can do more than a doubling in 2.5 months?
Yep.
All right. Tom, you dropped off really quick, but the question is end of year price targets. We got 2 months, 3 weeks before December 31st. What do you think ETH is going to be? What do you think Bitcoin's going to be?
Yeah, but by year end, our target for Bitcoin is 200 to 250,000. And for Ethereum, somewhere between 10 and 12,000.
Even higher than Arthur. So that's basically.
All right, there you heard it from there. They still believe these assets are going to go a lot higher over the next few months. All right, here, this is kind of a ridiculous statement. I'm going to play it, and then we're going to fact correct it, because that's what you got to do on this channel.
Right, to say that like XRP, ridiculous, right? You got all this stuff owned by Brad and the foundation, and then you got the army trading the shares back and forth to try to get 286 or 289. If the foundation actually sold all those coins, the price would basically go to zero.
It's nice that Tony Edward questions anything that he says, Oh, good. Just to clarify this, right? Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is one of the largest individual holders of XRP, but the exact number XRP personally owns is undisclosed. So nobody knows. Most sources confirm that his stake is substantial, with his wealth largely tied to 6.3% equity in Ripple rather than direct XRP wallet balances. So a lot of it's probably his stake in Ripple, the company, and not how much XRP he has. Remember, Brad came in a lot later than the original developers. So hard to say where this all is. Let me see. Do we know how much XRP Brad Garlinghouse actually has? Let's see. Let's take a look here. The amount of FUD coming out around XRP right now is just astronomical. And usually when that happens, something big's going on, but it's not publicly disclosed. So he's out here bashing, saying...
Say that like XRP, ridiculous, right? You got all this stuff owned by Brad and the foundation. And then you got the army trading that shares back and forth to try to get 286 or 289. If the foundation actually sold all those coins, the price would basically go to zero.
Okay, so Ripple has roughly 5 to 7 billion XRP. They bought that off the open market for on-demand liquidity. There's 35 billion in escrow. They are the steward as that. You can't just unlock that and dump all of that at the same time. Impossible, right? Would Ripple destroy their entire business in a day to do what he's saying? Does that sound logical or smart? Like, people look up to Mark Yusko as a pretty smart guy. That's a pretty stupid comment in my personal opinion. You do have the Ethereum Foundation dumping. You have CZ and Binance dumping, right? Early Solana Foundation people dumping. Early Bitcoin developers, like, it's crypto. Who isn't dumping? All right, this is huge. New special report from Morgan Stanley. GIC. We aim to support our financial advisors and clients who may flexibly allocate their cryptocurrency as part of their multi-asset portfolios. This has 16,000 advisors managing $2 trillion. What could this mean for crypto? 4% of 2.25 trillion here is kind of what you'd be looking at for Morgan Stanley. But here are the other: BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, State Street, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, JP Morgan. Look how much money you'd be talking about here. 4% from all of these institutions would be about 2.25 trillion in hard assets added to the crypto industry. Remember, most of this value would come with some type of market cap multiplier depending on where that asset is. This could send the crypto market well above 10, 15, 20 trillion dollars in total market cap, in my personal opinion. CFTC regulated options for XRP and Solana are now live and trading. Seamless integration, physically settled into the underlying futures contracts, flexible exposure, trade large and micro sizes. Looks like they're expanding services at CME for XRP and Solana. What could this all mean? The key features: CFTC registration. These options are regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, enhancing compliance and legal clarity for institutional participants. Physically settled contracts. The options settle into the underlying Solana and XRP futures contracts rather than cash, which boosts integration with broader risk management strategies and flexible trade sizes. Also, Lord Belgrave did put this out. After years in global banking, I've learned that the real change doesn't announce itself, it integrates silently. Ripple's technology has already touched the same infrastructure that powers Visa Direct, MasterCard Send, and American Express international payments. These are the test beds. Visa, MasterCard, American Express are quietly experimenting with Ripple's technology. The future of settlement is moving from messaging to value transfer. You also have this document here. Ripple developed a blockchain-based platform that is frequently used by American Express. We've shown a lot of this on the channel before. Here in the highlights, it says the Interbank Information Network, which is the largest blockchain payment network, yada, yada, yada. A frequently used application is American Express instant blockchain-based payment system, which they developed on the Ripple platform. So you start to wonder, right, what else is being developed under Ripple platform, or the arm there? And this is where I think the United States and Ripple could have some type of deal, but that is just my speculation. Ripple and American Express here document Token Insight Research talks about the countries. In purple here, countries and regions support Xcurrent. And then in the teal here, countries and regions that support XRapid. This looks like an older document. Yeah, Jed McCaleb from Stellar. And then here's some of those connections with American Express, Newham, Santander, SCB Bank, SBI Remit, and then of course, Stellar, Circle, IBM, and so much more. And Coinbase is teaming up with American Express to launch a crypto credit card offering Bitcoin rewards. That is some new information today. We'll see how all of this unfolds. I feel like you're going to get a lot more products and services, and this is only going to make the space more available to other people that are not really trading crypto to get them in and start using and buying. Let me know what you guys think about these Ethereum and Bitcoin price targets here. Are we still going to get there before the end of the year? Let me know what you guys think. And of course, what do you think about this JP Morgan news that they are going to be allowing their customers to buy and sell these types of different crypto assets? Interesting enough, I do believe JP Morgan will work with a company for custody. You only have a few options there. You can go like Fireblocks, you can go Anchorage, you can go Coinbase custody, or you could call Ripple, right? Ripple custody, see how that would do. Medico's really kind of Europe, I would say, more Europe focused than the US. And so Ripple custody might be a good solution. We'll see what they decide to do. All right, I'll leave it at that. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.